I will just give the word to my colleagues as well to introduce themselves. So starting with Romain.
Yeah, sure. So I'm Romain. I'm doing the engineering in the team. So I was working on the mechanical and the electronics engineering, and I give Yanni the.
All right. My name is János. I'm a software engineer. I did all the code and some of the rule concept of the game.
So this is our little team, and we're working with. I think two names worth to mention. A lot of people helped us actually during the process, but two names we would like to mention. Artology, who worked with us, Attila Szabó, with the art of the machine. He designed the art for our machine, and Balint Ács, who actually made the layout for us. And then our company is basically our aim to be like a design company, and we're doing it for passion, and this is what we would like to do. We would like to work on designing different machines or even arcade games, and basically anything. We are open for anything. And other thing is we would like to aim for is to get and give our passion away to others as well, and to get to introduce pinball to the new generations as well, and hence we're planning to do different and small gameplays in our office as well. So these are small events organized in our office. And so when we established our pinball company in 2016, so 2 years ago. And we started first for months discussing the topics, what could be the theme, and you believe or not, this was the first theme we came up with, and then we had like 100 different ones we talked about and we think through, and then I think we kind of narrowed it down for like about 10 topics, and we had some designs made up for them, and then this was we felt the closest to us, and I think all the three of us fall in love with the theme and with the artwork what we received first. And then after that, we get, parallel with that, we got some drawings for the pinball machine, and also we made a computer simulation, and after that, we made our first prototype. And we're gonna talk about all this in details in the next slide, so this is like kind of a summary of our project. And then after the first prototype, we built the second one, which is basically this one, so this is our second game. This is the first complete machine we built. And after that, our parts started to arrive for the first batch, which is for 10 pinball machines, what we built ourselves, and now we are at the shipping stage of that. And then I will ask János to talk a bit about how we started.
All right, thank you. So as you see, we started in our living room. We didn't.
Are you married?
Yeah, you can imagine her to say, oh, what's that? And then, okay, can we move it to somewhere else? Then it went to my room. But so we used what we could find. It's not advertised for Coca-Cola, but the can was perfect size to keep the play field. We were looking around for workshops all around in Wales, and we found this place. Like first time I went with Otilia, and then this place looked nice because we surrounded with creative people all around, so artists, music maker, everybody, and then we said, well, this is a fine place. So this is our very, very first office before we moved out and after we moved in. And it's a little bit more about Roman's topic because
you can.
No, if you want to talk about that Roma made all the drawings of the mechanical drawing, and he cut it out with the CNC. I have no clue how to run a CNC if you want to.
Yeah, so the original layout concept was designed by Balint Ács, who we used to work with a few years ago. And so, of course, we started with paper design because it's much faster to iterate rather than directly going to computer simulation. So we started with paper. We had about maybe 10 iterations on paper. Then we decided we had something we were quite happy with. So then we went to computer simulation with Future Pinball,
yes.
Which then helped us to refine the layout. And then when we were happy with that, it was a big, big work to try to get a real playfield made out of just what we had as a simulation. So we had to redraw the complete playfield in a CAD package, so the 2D layout of the playfield, measure everything accurately, making sure everything would fit as much as we could. That was the very first playfield we made. And then I spent a few days at a Fab Lab in Cardiff, where a lot of makers meet and can use the tools and the machinery they need for their project. So spent a couple of days at the Fab Lab. We made the first playfield ourselves as a test fit. And I think it was pretty good. We had a lot of things to refine after that very first prototype, but it was pretty good.
If we can go back one picture.
Yeah.
Is it
Of course I
possible?
can.
We didn't have a cabinet
Yeah,
in the very beginning. We just have a holder for the playfield. And after it, if you go back to that.
Yeah. So yeah, this holder was a really quick design, so that we could put the playfield at the right angle, and it was completely open on the sides as well. So we could easily access under the playfield for adjusting and checking anything we needed, which is much easier than to work with a full-blown cabinet where you actually don't have any access on the side or underneath the playfield. This cabinet is the very first cabinet that we got in the office. You see it's completely blank. No, we started to fit the playfield in it, and then you can go to the next picture.
Yes, and then
If you want.
as you are in the picture, so
Oh,
you feel
never
free
mind.
to talk.
Well, this is when we started to build this prototype, and this is where we started to make our, how to say, production document. How we start, how we gonna first you put the inserts in, then you put the T-nut in, and then you
Yes.
start assembling. What is pretty much a fun.
It was fun.
It's fun. It's we enjoyed it, and luckily, 99.9% everything was fit, so we
Yeah.
don't need to
Hack too much.
hack too
Yeah.
much or mess around.
Yeah,
What
and
were the
still-
things that didn't fit first time?
Thank you, Dave. Q&A in the end.
Yeah, I'm interested. I mean,
we have a few things we can mention at the end, what we had to
Yeah.
improve. Just a few more pictures that it's our first office, and then how we are working in to basically this one. On this picture, you see basically our first prototype, and this one is the second playfield we built. This one is the second playfield actually we built, and this is all the prototypes we had.
Yeah. Just
So
a couple
from
of
the first one to the second one, we made some improvements, but after that, basically, we feel that we got it the way we were
Yeah.
kind of planning it. And then we were working with a couple of playfield suppliers as well. And this one is like when we received the first batch basically, and we're just testing that everything will fit. More or less, as Janusz said.
The electronics, so I'm not gonna go too far in the electronic and the control side of things, but we designed the electronic board in-house, which was custom designed for this machine, and the whole idea was to keep things simple and easy to design and easy to fix, if that would happen in the field. So the board is designed on off-the-shelf parts, off-the-shelf components. For those who know, the 74 series TTL logic chips, which have been used in pinball for the last 30 years, so everybody has them in stock. Everything is standard. There's no black magic on the board. But just to make sure that the board was working before we would, make more, so we assembled everything by hand, Ottilia and myself, which was that was fun.
Yeah, we still can say it was fun.
Yeah.
We're gonna get to the point when it wasn't that much fun.
So yeah, that was fun, and yeah, so the whole idea was to keep the whole control system simple. So we have a Raspberry Pi which is running all the software and the display and the sound, and then all the power supply and input outputs with the switches, solenoids, and LEDs is controlled by the electronic board. Yeah, very first switch on of the playfield second iteration. So you can see that the cabinet, this cabinet is actually the one that's in front of you. So this cabinet didn't have any decals back then. So we really focused on getting the machine ready from a technical and functional point of view before moving too far and having the designs and all of that. So that could be made a bit later.
Before we making it pretty.
Yeah. So first make sure there's something work, and then you can make it pretty. Which brings us to the Mafia.
Yes, so we arrived to the stage that when we had one pinball machine basically set up with with basic sounds, basic animations, and then we knew that we have to improve that part and put more in the machine. But this was like the first machine we made.
Testing. Long story short, that wasn't easy. The machine stayed in the test location for a couple of months, I think.
Probably.
Yeah, around a couple of months. Because to be able to ship anything in Europe or even to the US, you need to have the proper approvals. And these include FCC for USA and Canada, or the North America, and CE for the European market. So the machine went to a test facility not very far from Cardiff. So yeah, you see all the test equipment and the machine in the anechoic chamber. Yeah, conducted emissions and all of that. So just to make sure that the machine is resilient to noise you would emit to the machine, that the machine is still gonna work, or worst case, the machine can recover from an issue on its own. And the other test, obviously, is that the machine doesn't emit more than the load, and the machine is not going to disturb other equipment. So that's part of the requirements in the FCC and CE approvals.
But we actually passed, so we have the FCC certificate for the machine,
Yes,
which
of course,
means we are free to ship to the States.
Yeah.
And then when the thing wasn't that nice anymore and that fun anymore, we obviously had to figure something out. So this is how we made our team management to just do something else for fun.
When in doubt, blow things up.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So who did you shoot at?
You can't see that.
Yeah.
They are still alive, so that's
Show you those pictures for a fee.
Right. When we said, okay, we can make that machine, we had to go in a bigger office workshop.
Yeah.
And we see in the same building, the first thing we was on the first level with the first machine. And it's a pain in the butt to carry machines up and down.
Stairs.
First levels if
Probably.
you don't have a lift. So you have to use the stairs.
I will keep pushing for an upstairs office, but they both said no way.
No. Because we already had 5 machines upstairs and we had to carry down, and it was not nice.
So so we started to order the parts for the first 10, and the small office we had. It was perfect for development. We've been there for a complete year. But then when the parts started to arrive, the boxes just piled up in the office, and we couldn't basically go in anymore. So we had to move.
To Tetris inside.
And this was the state of the office what we actually rented. So this is where we are now. This is not how it looks. So we spent about like
a
5
month.
to 6 weeks.
Yeah, more than a month to make it suitable. So Roma is perfect in putting carpet,
Yeah.
and we both learned how to paint.
Yes, without getting paint on us. So, but this was again something interesting, something what is come with the hobby we want to do, coming with our work, what we want actually to do, but it's basically something else. So, and then this is what we get actually.
Yeah.
We have our office set up, and then we have a part like a game as a game room. So we have our machines lined up there. So and we have the workshop there. So this one is just a stand for the cables, but we have other desks and tables out there as well to work as work.
Yeah, so
station.
just the cables, we made every single wiring them by hand for the 10 machines.
Which was fun.
Yeah, at the beginning. Yeah.
Yes.
And this room is our office as well. You won't see them because they are behind. Our desks are behind the machines, but our showroom as well. So this one is like it's all in one: a game room, an office, a workshop, and the showroom as well. And then when we get the first machine ready, we thought, okay, it's time to start to think about the future, what we are going to do. We need to have some pictures, we need to make some flyers, we need to start working on the marketing material as well. So this is when we had the photo shoot, and it was like a 2 days non-stop photo shoot. So all the pictures we basically like used at the beginning to introduce ourselves. It was made by on this over this weekend.
Well, we started to arrive, the parts started to arrive. Well, first we got the cabinet, then playfields, then the playfield protector, then electronics, and then the screen. and all like started to sub-assembling it. And to mention it, it was not just 3 of us. All our family joined. Roma's mom joined us. Even your brother helped out in the beginning. Otilia's father and cousin, and my sister and my dad came over and like.
So they all give us a hand, and some of our friends as well. They popped in for an afternoon who were like working with Pinball before, and they just popped in for an afternoon and oh yeah, can we help a bit? And then they just helped out.
Yeah, it was very.
It was really nice and really helpful. So when we had like we spent like 5-6 weekends in the office non-stop. Then one afternoon they just come in, and then we had the pizza, and then they helped us to build the machines. And this part was fun, but not that much. So when we started to do the detailing ourselves, so this we did, and we are a couple with Janos, we are not married, but if we would have been married, this would be the point when we would have divorced. So the detailing, it was nice to see, because when we did the detailing and we started to set the machines up, we felt that, oh my god, this looks like a pinball machine. So it was really great. And I think for me this point was when we first had the photo shoot, and then we seen our machine back on the pictures, and then oh my god, it's a pinball machine. So until that it was like a work piece, and then it just turned to a real machine.
Yeah, because until that point, the only pinball machine we've ever seen was on like computer 3D design, and so we didn't even have. We had the picture in our head, but to actually see it coming all together was really good. And you can see that. So the cabinets are on their side. So the cabinets, we didn't set up the cabinets before decaling them, because it's much easier to work on a flat surface rather than trying to align the decal on the side of the cabinet, which is impossible. So we did that first. Then we did set up the cabinet, which is on the next slide, I think. There you go. And so we did the cabinets and the back box separately. So when we received them, they are in two different parts. And then we assemble. Then we put the back box on the cabinet, which brings the complete cabinet and back box assembly together.
So basically, the only things we received, like kind of ready to use, it was the box itself, and then everything else we did ourselves. And this is our production line.
Little bit of a production line. So we were just using tables. We don't have rollers. We don't have operatives. So we did everything ourselves. So the playfield went through different stages. So first, Janos and Otilia started by putting all the mechanisms, T-nuts on the playfield, gluing the inserts, all of that. So once all the mechanisms were on the playfield, then it was my turn to do all the wiring and solder the wiring on the playfield. And then it was back to you to put like the LEDs, the playfield. So what we call the playfield protector. We don't actually print directly on the wood. We assemble the playfield with the bare wood, and then we have a 1 millimeter thick piece of polycarbonate sheet, which is reverse printed and then just applied on the wood. It's not even glued, which makes it replaceable in the future. So that really helped us handling eventual dimpling or eventual issues on the playfield assembly. So we don't damage the artwork on the playfield at any point during the assembly. It's all done on the bare wood, and then we put the playfield protector last thing on the playfield. So now you see all the playfields directly lined up behind the cabinet, so we could like just have the wires just going through, plugged in the machine, and we could test the playfields without even putting them in the cabinets, which again reduced the risk of damage by putting the playfields in and out of cabinets.
And
right. When we had the 10 machine built, we had to start thinking how to make an advertisement of it. So in this picture, Zoltán Szirmai, who helped us a lot about making videos, making the flyer, and then.
And we're back home again, just so you see. So we did bring it home again.
Yeah. So that was the editing of the. So we had 2 pieces of videos that were made. We had an initial teaser that we released maybe a couple of days before doing the launch, and then we had the trailer, which is available on YouTube for the game. So that was the editing of both videos.
And also this come at kind of the end.
Yeah, he's my friend helping us out by voiceover. So in this picture you just see Jason. He got all the scripts what we came up, and he did a pretty good job.
Yeah.
technically he's not a voiceover artist. He did his best.
But he had a good accent. You will see when you try the game. And yes, about that, for example, we had the script ready like a year ago. But this was something what come at the end. So we were prepared for it, but we only made the recording recently. And this is the first time we switched on the machine. So we were kind of happy about it, and we had to like document it. This was the first time when all the machines
all the
got
10
set
machines.
up and switched on.
Nothing blew up.
Not at this stage.
Just a question from the internet. How many games have you made? That looks like 10. Is that the number
10,
that you
yes.
made?
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So we built 10, and we have this one as our prototype. Plus we have one for ourselves as well. I mean, not ourselves, but for the company.
And the next 500?
Coming soon.
As soon as
Soon,
you
soon.
place the orders, yeah. So basically, we try to set them up in a nice way because at the 20th of July we had like basically our launch event. So this is where we thought that we wanted to do most of the development before we actually announce anything. So this was the stage where we had the 10 machines set up. It's still in the last 1 month we were basically testing it, and Janos were like crazy about the software as well. But this was the time when you can already like look at them and see that they kind of looks complete. So yes, it was really nice, and we have Martin and Jonathan over visiting us as well for this event, and we had like some media coming like from Welsh television and and
Those
so
were
on.
nice cakes, by the way.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, they were made by, because Janos mentioned that the place where we're working, it's basically a huge building, what is rented, they're renting out the rooms, and it's like mostly rented by artists, and this one of our neighbor basically made cupcakes and cakes, so it was kind of handy. It just came over and we showed him around what exactly kind of cakes we would like to have.
Yeah.
So it's designed for us.
And this is a funny picture.
Yes.
So Martin make a picture and Jonathan make a picture.
And
about
Janos is
Martin.
standing here as
And
well,
I'm
making
making
the
the
picture. And thanks again for you to come, Martin and Jonathan. It was really nice. And then here we are. It's just we just shoot this picture recently when we basically like packed the first machines, and one of them already arrived in Austria, and another one is going to Sweden, and it's actually on its way. So the first unboxing video went online, I think 2 days ago.
2 days ago,
And
yes.
we were like sitting there and looking at it. Is everything alright? I mean, it was more about that everything is in one piece.
Yeah.
Because this was the first one. Everything, all the packaging, we have to come up with how to do it. Obviously, we knew how it looks like in generally, but to fit our machine and our need, we had to design everything for that as well. So it was challenging, to be honest. But we got here, and then we did say goodbye for the first 2 games already.
I think that's great that you So listen, that's a really great presentation. Thank you for that. Just wonder if we had any questions from the room. Question here, Dave.
Yeah. The three of you, all four of us, we were teammates. We had a lot of work experience with a certain other pinball entrepreneur. The question is, what approach, what things did you three as the team decide to do that he specifically did not?
Oh, okay. Dave is referring to it that all the three of us were working at UKPinfest before.
If I suggest that you answer that based on what you want to do rather than what other people do, because I don't think any of us really care about that. We care about what you guys are doing.
Exactly.
Would be my advice to you.
Yes, it's fine.
Yeah.
Yes.
We can mention we left in 2016.
Yeah, over
we
2 years
left.
ago actually.
Yes. So we were.
And then we
The
started
company was
everything.
still blooming.
Yeah, and we started everything from scratch. So we started all the design and everything, all the work on this machine made from scratch, and it's completely different as well. And
I think the most important thing to see from how we approach this project is we started to make a single machine for fun. We had no business idea. It was not a business oriented project. We started to make one, we made one, we had a working one, and then we thought, how often could it be to make 10?
And
What?
and it was fun. So we're ready for the next batch actually.
Somebody asked when is 500 somewhere here. All right.
Yeah, maybe 100.
We forget to mention that's maximum 100. in
Yeah,
the
100.
presentation.
Yeah.
That's no more. 100. That's the
I have a
maximum.
question here. So who you for, Joey, John, sir? What's your question? What's your name and what's your
So,
question?
Mark, and it's an amazing story, especially the fact that it's such a family-based creation. There's so congratulations on just getting it made. But there's what made you go with Mafia as a theme, and were there any other themes that you considered at the time?
It's a good question. We need to come up with something what is a generic theme, and that
No license.
no license, of course, because licensing is we do know that's a pain. And
It's not just that, but it was like it's funded
Yeah,
by
yeah,
the
yeah, we
three
couldn't
of
afford
us,
it, yeah,
so we
yeah.
couldn't just go and buy a license for now. So, but if we could, then obviously we could.
Yeah.
And so when you were Mafia, you're gonna already have some ideas like Chicago, 1930s, and you already have some idea to work with. We had designs like what is for true hardcore collectors, like it's like Junkyard or Roadshow, but it's not that generic. It's a little bit more generic.
Yeah.
And then we don't have to come up with new ideas. So the team Mafia already gave some ideas what we could already.
Yeah, and it's based in Chicago, East Coast of the US in the 20s and 30s, and you know there's a lot of build on top of that.
Family-friendly Mafia.
Yeah, family. yeah. There's anything such as family-friendly Mafia.
As Jonathan said, I'm sorry that then because we got that question that is it family friendly, and Jonathan said because he heard that the first thing when you press the start button it says welcome to the family. So thank you, Jonathan.
Any other questions? Sorry. Gentleman here.
It's Adrian. Looking at the way that you built these, very much handmade.
Yeah.
I've been particularly impressed with the fact that you have wired these individually. You've not built a wiring loom. You've actually, I'm presuming that it's every individual cable has been put together rather than building a loom and then installing the loom on the machine.
No,
Is
we
that
built the
correct?
loom first.
You did say you are
Yes,
building a loom.
Yeah.
Being somebody who's restored a machine by replacing a significant part of a loom, I have to applaud you for acquiring that.
Thank you.
Is that the plan to continue, once you've designed that loom, will you then build looms before installing them? Or will they be built specifically for each individual machine?
To design the wiring looms was a long time, but to build them took about 3 weeks for the 10 machines.
Okay.
It took us about 3 weeks. If we keep doing that, there's no way we're gonna make more machines because it's just too time consuming. So all the things that we did on the first 10 machines, we absolutely wanted to do them ourselves so we could learn ourselves what does it imply, what are the risks, everything that could go wrong basically. But now that we've learned how to assemble 10 machines, now that's something we can teach to other people. So we're going to have someone eventually for the next run of 10 machines to come and help us. Maybe not full-time employee, but maybe part-time, just to give us a hand. Wiring looms, we're going to get probably a supplier who's that job to make wiring looms, and the same for the electronic boards.
Okay, thanks for that. Question back. Sorry, who are you, sir?
Hi, Mark Squires, Pinball Surgery. I believe we've met before anyway, but first of all, a big thank you as a repair engineer for socketing your TTL chips. Yeah, I wish everybody would do it. You mentioned that's the second prototype machine.
Yes.
which I've had a good look at. Could you talk to me about the difference between that machine and the machines that are going out, the final machine? What are the differences?
Okay.
The board is the same.
Yeah.
The playfield, this playfield was cut out of 15mm instead of 12mm. So we've learned our lesson. Now we're using 12mm playfield. Because the US is usually based on half an inch, which is 12.7. So 12 is way closer to 15. Apart from that, the cabinet itself
Hasn't changed significantly.
it's the same.
Nothing.
It's exactly the same.
It's more just we changed. We added a few bits for the layout
Yeah.
actually.
And it's just general like little touch and tweaks. But the machines are
So there's been no major
no.
jumps
Yes.
between
No,
the two?
no. The machines are pretty much the same. Yeah.
On the first, when we mentioned second prototype, we did have a first one where you had no right orbit.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
So
so
that's
actually,
the
yeah,
next
so
step.
yeah, the very first one, between the very first and the second one, we actually added one shot, which made the game added a lot more flow in the game.
Yeah. Just a question from Kevin Buffalo. Are you aiming this at the location or the collector market? What's your, I mean, it's got a coin door obviously, so it can be put on location, but just what's your thinking behind that?
I would say both, because our machine based on standard parts, so it's really operator friendly, and with one board with a Raspberry running on a Raspberry Pi, so I think it would be perfect for operation, and because we're only making like 100, maximum 100, maybe less, that it means that it's kind of collectible as well.
Yeah.
Right.
So it
So I think
makes the machine, makes a good appeal for the machine, even in collection. So you're not gonna find this machine everywhere around the world. There's only gonna be a few in each country. So it makes it appeal, makes good appeal for people who want to collect them, and if you want to go and play it on location.
David Blake, are you going to provide support for it? I mean, you know, most electronics you can keep going, looks a nice, tidy board. Are you going to provide a manual?
The manual is being written at the moment.
Okay.
Yes.
And what about service parts? You know, if you want to buy a board as a burn up or something, are you going to be able to continue to support those?
Obviously.
In
Yes,
other words,
of course.
what's your mission? Are you going to keep going at this?
Yes.
Yes.
It's not just going to be this
As-
game.
As we mentioned, the game is based on all the mechanisms are off-the-shelf Pally Williams mechanisms. There's nothing you can't buy mechanically wise for the machine. The electronics is based on off-the-shelf parts. Raspberry Pi, you can buy it anywhere you want. The board, everything is mounted on sockets. So that gives the end buyer almost all access. If you need to fix or replace anything, there's only very few bespoke parts that went into this machine.
And yes, we're planning to support. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, any more questions in the room? One at the back there,
Yeah,
sir.
Chris Poybug from Northern Lights Pinball. Two questions really. First one, I was speaking to Mike from HomePin, who, as you know, has done his own massive factory in China, etc., etc. So obviously his is a lot bigger scale. But I said to him, if you could go back to the start of that, knowing what you know now, what you've gone through, would you do it again? And he went, probably not, but I'm here now. So same question to you guys is the first question.
I think it's a definite yes. I mean, from my side, I don't know
Yes.
about them.
Maybe if you could expand, what would you do differently, you know, where you are? Because clearly, you know, probably not put it in the
It
front of
was-
the wife's
It was a bit
table, but-
difficult, for example, about the time scale. So we wanted to finish obviously a bit quicker, a bit sooner. So it was difficult to basically get the good estimation of the time frame what we need, because there were so many things coming up. Like for example, as Roman mentioned, we had the FCC testing, and it's supposed to be like 1 week, and it took 6 weeks because we had to do some improvements before we actually passed. So there were so many things when we received the part and it wasn't exactly what we needed, so we had to go back to try to do another prototyping of the part, and then by the time we got the good one, and we had so many things like that which taken a lot of time up. So this would be something what we would be more careful in a next project, I think.
So every machine's got to have the MC.
Yes.
Yeah, it's for
CE
the machine
is
itself.
default.
Yes.
It's, I mean, I build this, and the CE process itself is horrific, and FCC not even worse. But it's a tall order, especially for something like that, where you've got much more kind of EM, going to remake small network stuff. You got a lot of things going on. It's a challenging process, and one actually many companies actually don't really follow. So I'm in the telecommunications business. If you don't follow that, you stick a Christmas tree lights, you wouldn't believe how much pain that causes a telecommunications network because people don't follow that. It's quite tough and something you have to do. There was one more question at the back.
I had another.
Oh,
half
sorry.
question.
No, one at a time. Sorry, Chris.
Yeah.
Next question.
Yeah, hi, my name's Adrian.
Hi, Adrian.
In terms of the software design of the play field, what were the biggest changes that you had to make once you made the hardware implementation of that play field?
In terms of game software.
Well, no, in terms of the general flow of the table, what were the biggest changes you had to make between the software and the hardware model?
Right, I see.
Yeah, the biggest changes were it was mainly about refining all the accuracy of the models we had, because when you're pulling a virtual model of a pop bumper, it's going to have such geometry, and then when you try to put that in a proper CAD software, you're going to find out that nothing matches. Everything's different. Plus, we had to, obviously, we're based in the UK, we're not based in the US, and all the engineering in the UK is in metric system. So that caused its own, a lot of challenges. So these were the main things that we had to take into account.
Okay, thanks.
Another question from online. Did you have to do a lot with the gameplay in terms of, you know, and the rule set, adjusting the rule set? How did you work through that process?
Oh, it's a question for you.
So after the show, we're gonna release 1.0. This is
Right.
the first time that the machine kind of left our office.
Mm.
So and go to the heavy stress test now. And then
It's
I
done
did
very well. I
see-
played it last night. It's playing well.
Yeah, so we want to say thank you for everyone who taking
Yeah.
part in this process testing.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Because I did see already stuff what need to be fixed. Maybe you not seen it, I did see it.
Yeah,
So,
sure.
And our plan was, like, when we said we're gonna make 100, and I do know that many people now broadcast gameplay videos, so you can completely show the whole game online,
Yeah.
and that's fine. I think now what's gonna happen if the next 10 goes out, every 10 machine gonna have something new inside. So it doesn't mean that the code is not finished. So you
Right.
can reach the wizard mode and then you can carry on.
Sure.
But now, after every 10, there's gonna be a new mode inside. So that's the plan.
Okay, Chris, you had one more question.
Yeah, it's a weird one, but that's kind of suits me quite well. I just noticed that the lock bar is made out of MDF. What made you go down a lock bar made out of MDF as opposed to pretty much the standard has been stainless steel for many years, or Homepin are doing metal that's bonded to plastic? What made you go with MDF? Because there's a Gottlieb owner of cabinets are made out of MDF, not a nice material if it gets wet, because it expands and goes horrible. And I was just sort of thinking from an engineering perspective that, if it gets a bit porous, you sweat when you're playing a game, and I'd be worried personally that MDF would just balloon out over time. So I just wondered what the thought process of using MDF rather than, say, stainless steel or something was.
It is a core MDF, but the outside is foil wrapped. So you're not gonna get, you don't have the direct touch and feel of the MDF. So it's
Oh, so
protected.
it's not like a coating?
Yeah.
Okay,
So it's
okay.
completely coated foil wrapped, so it's scratch resistant. It's so that's strong.
Okay.
No worries.
Thank you.
But why that choice instead of metal? First part of Chris's question.
So the first part of the question was supply. That was the first issue we encountered, and all the usually required mechanics you need inside of the cabinet to handle a metal lockdown bar.
Great. So I think we're done there. We're gonna do a bit of. We're gonna move the game a little bit, put some cameras around it, let the world see it. You're welcome to watch, and it'd be good if you can do that. And you're gonna talk us through a bit of the gameplay again. We'll do that right now. So a couple of minutes where we rearrange, just so we can get the cameras on it and talk through the gameplay. So if you want to chat amongst yourselves quietly, that'd be great.
And
sorry.
sorry to interrupt. We also would like to show you basically the sounds of the music, because out there it's really difficult to
Yes.
hear. And we have basically a main music made for the machine by an American team, and the sound effects most of them are made by our game designer Balint as well. So it was to start.
Fantastic. Right. So yeah.
It should be fine.
People do know how good that is. And it's very good.
So, if you want to come round this side and watch, unfortunately I can't get on the screen, but feel free to come round.
Look, watch you.
And Roman's going to talk us through what's going on with the game.
Any? Well, then I have a quick restart.
Okay.
So let's take in the class.
Yeah, we can do that. You want to remove it? Well, if you want me to guide through.
Yeah, that'd be. I think. Yeah, that'd be good. That'd be good. I like it. It's cool.
MDF like that?
No, there are MDF. It's nice and light.
How many concepts did you play?
Look, just move the projector. Yeah, move the projector. So on stream, it's non-trivial doing this live.
Sorry.
Right.
Welcome to the family.
So when you get the ball, and I won't have high movement. So first thing, you have a skill shot. You can't select by the flipper, you cannot change. Second. You technically want to roll on that lane. So there are two kind of, in 1.0, two kind of hurry up exist. One is for a chase and one is for committing crimes. To start the chase hurry up, you have to hit now 28 more times, 22 more times, the spinner. When you collect a hurry up, it's gonna increase by 20. So the chase hurry ups go for the orbits or the captive ball. The crime hurry up will go for the stand-up targets. So when you collect one chase hurry up, you're gonna have a lead bumper. So I collect now all of it. So it now go for the left orbit. And now you want to collect the third one as well. Or you collect 1, 2, 3. The order is you can do in any order, but you want the captive ball to be the last, because the captive ball gives you 2x.
Playfield multiplier.
Yeah. So 1. So that's the. And now if I the third one, you get a hurry up.
Sorry, there goes my liquid tar.
Hurry up ends when you reach 1000. If you shoot the girl, you're gonna have
Increase the hurry up.
increasing the increase. Right. So collect it. So it was 2x. So this is what 19. So again, you do it 1, 2, and 3. Now you have it on the casino. And you have the third one, but you also have a spinner hurry up to left. Now, that's it. Most difficult shot in the game is the captive ball.
Yep.
And we have one more hurry up left for wizard mode. Now I spoil it. Our screen is like monocolor black and white for the game, but this is the mode where you're gonna see color. So if I collect the train, you automatically gonna go to the hurry up. It's called painted red. The Rolling Stones improved a little bit. You simply have to do collect all shots. And when you collect everything, your whole playfield becomes red. So this is like painted red. On the screen you're gonna see more gory stuff, but you know when you finished, when it's all red. And one more shot left, the train. And that's the only place in the game where you have to drain the ball. So you won't have power until then you collect it, the city, and you progress on the next one. And that's the 1.0 version of the game. Spelling boss is giving you 15 seconds ball saver.
machine is giving you bonus action. You maximize it on 5.
Where did you get the plastic from? In the UK or?
Yes.
Yeah. Was that a job finding somebody to do that?
Roman? Where did the plastics?
Are they easy to find somebody to do the plastics?
Yes.
Yeah.
You mean the printing of
The
it?
printing,
Yeah, printing of it.
Yeah.
Oh, spelling the bullets, increasing your spinner value. You can maximize it to 320. So if I do that.
So that playfield is printed on, it's reverse printed
Yes.
on polycarbonate.
Yes.
So basically you're never going to damage the armor.
Exactly.
Exactly, but if you think you want a better one, you can change it. Like,
Yeah.
you say, okay,
Did you say that it's not stuck to the playfield?
No, it's not.
No,
So it's held down by the post.
Just held down by the post?
Not even by the post.
gravity.
Gravity.
Static?
Yeah. Like if I'm trying to grab this, like I can lift the shooter lane. Yeah.
So you do need to remove the bumper cap.
Yes, yes. So you will have to remove the plastics and the bumper caps and the rubbers. But apart,
You could remove the whole thing and put a new one on.
Yes.
Does the polycarbonate scratch at all? You need to keep the balls clean, I presume.
Well, we do clean the balls.
It's a lovely finish.
The spinner can go goes to either side. That way, so you get points on the spinner. It goes either way.
That's the value of the gun, so it's standard.
Guys, if you want to see it, you can run that.
We have a hidden diamond target, but hard to find. And we have two stand up, the train and the casino. What you collect here, you have to collect it in this hole. Okay? So you have a free ball save.
Bonus times 2. Get on the train.
So where are all the balls? In the back box or in the cabinet? The electronics board?
It's all in the
back
back box.
box.
Only the sound amplifier
In
in
the
the cabinet. Oh,
You keep this stuff up there. Nobody will get the high score anymore. I try to leave.
Good, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, everyone.
Leave your piece of MDF back.
Again, we'll be back in the main hall if you want to play it tonight. It'd be great to see you.
thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Use the software. How loud does it go?
loud
On the scores,
in terms of
sometimes on the number
volume.
Yes, it's selectable.
So thanks everyone on stream. I'm going to end the stream there. This is Team Pinball with the Mafia pinball table here at UKPinfest. You want to come down, you can play this game tomorrow, or actually if you get down here tonight, it's around tonight. We'll be doing Kill Bill about 5 o'clock-ish, and tomorrow about 2 o'clock-ish, Thunderbirds. Thanks everyone for joining. See you soon. Oh, sorry. Actually, Tim on Pinball Live, Pinball on Twitch.tv, Pinball Live. Tim's going to stream Mafia later on today. We've probably a bit better setup than I'm able to do in this room. But so if you want to see more of the game, tune in then. Thanks, guys. See you later on.
It's about a year and a half. We've done all our testing, all the whole development with the nice machine. And you can see how it is.
So you have to select where you are, and then it's gonna determine